A very warm welcome to the chem212 organic chemistry course. The purpose of this video is to talk you through the various aspects of the Moodle course. But first of all, I'd like to do a land acknowledgement. I respectfully acknowledge that our Penticton, Kelowna, and Vernon campuses are located on the traditional and unceded territory of the Syilx Okanagan people, and our Salmon Arm campus is located on the traditional and unceded territory of the Secwepemc people. I would also like to make a comment about, in a sense, the philosophy that I have about learning and about these courses. I believe that students learn chemistry best through regular practice and self-assessment. This is why this course is organized and designed with multiple opportunities for formative assessment. I also believe that students learn best in a safe and respectful environment, which is what a student can expect to find in our chemistry classroom. Before I dig deeper into the Moodle course, I'd just like to remind you about those things that I've asked you to do in preparation for our first class. So things to be done before our first class. Well, I've asked you to purchase the course pack and the lab manual. Now, this year it's a little different at the Okanagan College. It will be important that you go online and order your material from the bookstore. It will be sent to the bookstore where you can pick it up. I encourage you to do this as soon as possible because it would be great for you to have your course pack from the very first day of class. I need you to register for a platform called ActiveChem, and I'll say more about that when I show you where the link is in our Moodle site. I want you to watch this welcome video, which you're doing right now, of course. I'd like you to take a look at the long form syllabus, the short form syllabus, and the course schedule. Again, I'll show you where these are posted. I'd like you to take a look at Chem Activity 1 video, parts 1 and 2, and I will show you where that video is linked in the Moodle site. If you have time, I ask you to go ahead and look at the Chem Activity 1 video, part 4, and maybe even dabble into the Chem Activity 2 videos, part 1 and 2. Now, I don't want to overwhelm you in giving you all these things to do before coming to our first class. It's just been my experience that if we can get a good start from the beginning, we're not so rushed later on in the course. I like to dive right deep into the course from the very first day. That way, when students still have some energy, they still have some focus, they're well into the course, and by the second week, we've moved along very nicely. Okay, so hopefully that's made some sense to you. Let's now go back to the Moodle course. I'm looking at the introduction page right now of the Chem212 course. You can see we have the land acknowledgement, and then a welcome, a list of the things that I'm asking you to do for this week. By the way, this section will change over time. It depends on maybe the most recent announcement or something that I'd like to draw your attention to. As we scroll down further, you'll see the course topics and the intended learning outcomes. I have a bunch of different images. If you click on any one of these images, and these images are related to the topic, you will see that there are a set of learner outcomes associated with that particular topic. So these images will have more significance as we go through the content. Now let's take a look under course resources. So here you will see that I've linked the syllabus, the long form, as well as the simple form. Please take a look at the long form. I will be referring to it throughout the semester. It has a lot of important details. But for now, I'm just going to open up the short form. This short form version of the syllabus essentially distills some of the key points from the longer form. It will be, I think, a useful reference that you can take a look at throughout the term. I will print out a copy for you so that you can keep it in your binder. It lets you know how your grade will be calculated. It lets you know when the term tests are and what are the associated chem activities with those term tests. It reminds you about the late policy. It reminds you how to contact me and also about my office hours. So hopefully you'll find that this concise document works to remind you about some key things related to this course. Also under course resources, you'll find a schedule. Now I do make significant use of the calendar feature in Moodle to help keep both you and me organized. But I think it's helpful to have a bird's eye view of how the course will progress. Course content according to week, the various videos and tutorials that are available, the various assignments that you are responsible for, when the midterms are, when the statutory holidays are scheduled. So hopefully this document also will be an important resource for you. I have a link here to office hours. So this is more to give you a sense of when I'm actually teaching. I do have some designated office hours, but as I have commented in the office hour document, if you and I can find an agreed upon time to meet, I'm happy to meet. Also, I have a Zoom link here. So this would be helpful. Let's say that you're not on campus and you'd still like to have a meeting with me. We can certainly meet via Zoom. Here's the link to Active Chem. So the first time that you access Active Chem, you should do it through this link. After clicking on this link, you will be able to register for Active Chem in general, but also for our course. You are given a 2-week grace period from the beginning date of our course, which is September the 7th. And so you don't need to pay for those first 2 weeks. After that, you do need to pay. I highly encourage you to download the app. It'll be from the app that, one, you can access any kind of homework questions. I'll say more about that in class, but also all the polling questions that we'll be using. It's really important that you have all this set up before coming to our first class, because I'll be polling from the get-go. There are some instructions about accessing and using Active Chem at this link. I do have additional links to some other resources, in particular, the chem212 course pack. Now, I have asked you to purchase the course pack, but you can also access the course pack from this particular link. Now, some folks like to work from a paper copy, but some folks actually like to work from an electronic version. And so if you're working from the electronic version, let's say taking notes on a tablet, it's not actually necessary to purchase the course pack. But let's say you have purchased the course pack and you need to access the notes, but you don't have the course pack with you. Well, you can take a look at the course pack from here. I also have links to various online textbooks, and in particular, I want to highlight the organic chemistry textbook McMurray. This has now been made available through OpenStax. It's one of the more famous organic chemistry textbooks, and now it is freely available. Over time, I may refer to various chapters, as it is a well-written organic chemistry textbook. And of course, there are other resources here that you may be wanting to look at. Under additional resources, and more specifically, additional video resources, you'll see a bunch of titles here, and each one represents a drop-down menu. Now, again, I'm not asking you to purchase a textbook, and I believe the course notes are fairly comprehensive, and then you do have access to some free books, but I also wanted to provide you with some additional resources, especially in the form of animations and videos. So I may not always remember to tell you to go take a look at this, but if we're covering intermolecular forces, for instance, and you want to see some additional things, well, here are some animations and videos available to you. Synchronous classes. In our actual classes, I will be asking you to engage in a variety of activities. Some of these will be H5P based, some of them will involve polling questions with active chem, some will be tutorials. If I need you to access anything outside of active chem, I generally will post it here. Also, I will be posting the Zoom recordings of our class. So for each class, I will stream the class via Zoom. So if you're not actually able to make it to class in person, you will be able to attend class in real time by watching the Zoom stream. You will also be able to see the class after the fact because I will post the Zoom recordings. This all said, I strongly encourage you to come to class. I believe it's a richer experience when you're actually present in class. So in terms of the things that I've asked you to do in preparation for our first class, you'll see that I've asked you to take a look at some chem activity videos. Well, here's where you find them. They're listed according to week, and then the title of the chem activity and the part. And the A generally means they've been assigned. N means they haven't specifically been assigned, but you have them available to you. I want to show you what's involved in watching the video through the H5P integration. So you were assigned Chem Activity 1 Part 1 video. So let's take a look. Okay, so the video has loaded. I generally like watching the video with full screen, but that's up to you. I'm not going to play through the whole video. You'll be taking a look at it later. But I wanted to point out to you that on the timeline, there are these little circles, and that's where you can expect to find a question. Now, of course, please watch the content of the video before getting to that question, but I'm just going to move closer to the question so you can see what's involved. Okay, so here's our first quick check 1. So I open this question, and it says here, what does the dashed line in a Lewis structure represent? Select all that applies. And the correct answers here are a nuclear attraction for a shared pair of electrons and a bonding pair of electrons. And so we check. Indeed, we have this correct. Now, should you have made a mistake, let's say you only checked one answer and you were then told, well, it's partially right. Well, you can always have another attempt. So there's no reason why a student should not get a perfect score in doing this exercise. I do want to point out to you, and I'm not going to answer this next question, but I do want to point out to you that at the end of the video, so I'm just going to click closer to the end, you will get a pop-up window where you need to submit your answers. So let's just see if I've done this correctly. So there's the pop-up window. Of course, if there were more questions answered, you'll see them here. You should see that you've gotten a complete score in all cases, or go back and make sure you do, and then submit your answers. This sends your grade to the Moodle gradebook. So one way to check that you have indeed submitted your answers is to take a look in the Moodle gradebook to make sure that your scores have been recorded. If you see any discrepancy, please let me know and I can certainly help you out. Okay, so now let us return to our Moodle page. And I just wanted to highlight some of the other sections. So the next section I'm calling Weekly Check-in Reflections. This module is designed to help students be better self-regulated learners. The idea is that we'll go through this module on a week-by-week basis. I will spend a little bit of time each week in class introducing a section, and then I'll be asking you to do some reading, a small amount of reading, maybe watch a video, and then do a bit of reflection. And there will also be a pre-test, that is a term test, and a post-test reflection. And by the end of the semester, we will have gone through the entire module. So I'll say more about this in class. Under the next tab is the Open OChem homework and quizzes. The bulk of your homework will be done through the Open OChem platform. The good news is this platform is entirely free. It's very robust. I have been working with this platform for over 3 years and have contributed many, over thousands of questions to support our class. Hopefully you'll find that it's a very good resource for you to practice and learn the organic chemistry concepts. Again, I'll say more about this in class in terms of upcoming deadlines, but you may want to be taking a look at the introductory Open OChem video, which talks you through how to use this platform. And you're certainly welcome to try the Open OChem tutorial. The first homework is not essentially due. It's a soft deadline, but it's essentially not due until September 15th. And I haven't even posted or made links to the homework or quiz yet. As I say, I'll say more about this in class. Associated with many of the chem activities are some additional supplementary questions. And by chem activity, I essentially mean the chapters in your course pack. And so if there are additional questions associated with that particular chem activity, the answers to these questions are then posted here. These questions are not usually assigned, and so you do them on your own pace for your own practice, and worked out answers are provided here. Finally, I wanted to share with you this page, which is under sample tests and exams. You'll see that we have 3 midterms and then of course the final, and I've also therefore posted 3 examples of midterms, test 1, test 2, test 3. I say 3 examples, 3 sets of examples, so 2 for each of the term tests and the corresponding answers. So hopefully that also serves as a good resource in the preparation for your term test. Once you've written each of the term tests, I'll also post them here so that you have access. I say fall 2022. Obviously, I need to change this to fall 2023. I'm hoping that you have found this video helpful in knowing how to navigate the Moodle platform to access the various resources that you need for this course. I'm looking forward to seeing you in our first class on September the 7th. That's a Thursday. I'm looking forward to working with you throughout the semester, both in the lecture and the lab. May you have a successful year.